In 1948, a scientist put a hungry pigeon into a small, empty box. Inside that box was a single red button. If the pigeon pecked the button, a small food pellet dropped out. The bird quickly learned the rule: one peck equals one reward. It was simple, it was predictable, it was boring. But then the scientist changed the rules of the game. He reprogrammed the button so that a peck might deliver food, or it might deliver absolutely nothing. It was completely random, and the pigeon completely lost its mind. It stopped sleeping, it stopped resting, it just relentlessly pecked the button. The scientist was B.F. Skinner. He had just discovered the psychological concept of the variable reward, and 60 years later, tech companies took his blueprint and put you inside the box. In the natural world, dopamine is a survival tool. It's the chemical reward your brain releases when you find food or spot danger. But it was biologically designed to stop. You find the berry, you rest. Today, that chemical off switch has been entirely bypassed. Think about what happens when you pull down to refresh your social media feed. You pull, there's a slight pause, the little wheel spins, and then the new content finally appears. This isn't just a convenient user interface, pulling the lever, pulling the screen. It is the exact same moment of anticipation, the ultimate power of maybe. Your brain doesn't know the difference. It reacts exactly like Skinner's pigeon. The pull to refresh feature was invented in 2007 by an engineer named Lauren Brichter. He didn't mean to create a psychological weapon. He later said he just wanted to build something that felt smooth. But the tech industry quickly realized what they had stumbled upon. They had found a way to completely bypass your rational mind and plug directly into your central nervous system. But that was only the beginning. For a long time, the internet had a natural stopping point, the bottom of the page. You had to physically click a button to see more. A split second where your brain could wake up and ask itself, do I actually want to keep doing this? Then came Asa Raskin. In 2006, he wrote the code for the infinite scroll. He eliminated the bottom of the page. The content just kept loading automatically. The friction was gone. The stopping cue was completely erased. Asa later estimated that this single line of code wastes about 200,000 human lifetimes every single day. Even he regrets inventing it now. Silicon Valley calls it frictionless design, but what they are really removing is your freedom of choice. If there is no end to the feed, there is no trigger to walk away. But the worst is yet to come, because the machine doesn't just want you to scroll, it wants to know exactly what makes you tick. Every time you pause on a video, every time you like, every time you rewatch, you are feeding it the most intimate data imaginable. It is building a psychological profile of your specific vulnerabilities. And as it feeds you exactly what you want, it physically alters your brain. Neuroplasticity means your brain adapts to whatever it does most. Constant, effortless dopamine spikes downregulate your receptors. That's why reading a book or working on a long-term project suddenly feels physically painful. Real life doesn't deliver a massive dopamine hit every 3 seconds. It simply can't compete. You haven't lost your attention span. Your attention span has been conditioned to demand a constant, variable reward. In Las Vegas, there is a well-known concept. They call it the machine zone. Anthropologist Natasha Dow found that heavy slot players don't actually play to win money. Winning is just an interruption. They play to stay in the zone, a state of suspended animation where the world fades away, problems disappear, and absolutely nothing exists except the next pull. Look familiar? When you're 2 hours deep into a late-night scrolling session, you aren't looking for a specific video. You aren't learning anything. You are in the machine zone. The algorithm has successfully pacified you, and none of this is an accident. Deep inside Silicon Valley, in closed-door meetings, they don't use words like audience or viewers. They call you a user. Only 2 industries in the world call their customers users: illegal drugs and software. Their entire business model is based on extracting human attention. Your time is harvested, packaged, and sold to advertisers. This is the attention economy, a $2 trillion industry, and they are using supercomputers to fight your willpower. On your side of the screen, it's just you. On their side of the screen, there are thousands of the smartest engineers and behavioral psychologists in the world working every single day to figure out how to keep you looking at that glass. It is a fundamentally unfair fight. You tell yourself you just lack discipline. You blame yourself for procrastinating, for wasting the day, for ruining your sleep. You feel completely guilty, but you need to look at what you're actually up against. You aren't failing. You are functioning exactly as the system designed you to, like the pigeon in the box, like the gambler at the slot machine, like a biological machine responding perfectly to calculated stimuli. You think you are using an app to consume content, but the app is using content to consume you. You are not the consumer. You are the product. But there is a way out. The first step to escaping a trap is realizing that you are inside one. You are not losing to yourself. You just didn't know someone else was playing the game.